Mark, before the break, I had mentioned, the Columbia Gorge Orchestra Association, and not really having ever been exposed to it. And it's been around since the 70s.
Well, the orchestra has been around since the 70s, right? The Columbia Gorge Sinfonietta.
Okay.
And the Orchestra Association is a nonprofit umbrella, and we formed it about 6 years ago. The orchestra used to be managed by the Portland Chamber Music Society, and then when Dorothy McCormick, the conductor, passed away, and I took over as director, we decided rather than pay dues to the group in Portland, that we should just split away, start our own nonprofit. And the goal is, I think, really to provide musical experiences for a huge range of participants, as well as audiences. So we have the orchestra for the adults, and then we have a string program for beginners, adults and kids. We have a group called Voci, which is an adult chamber choir that I direct. And then we have a children's choir as well. So we're, I think, from 8 years old through 80, we have people performing and participating.
Wow. So choir and an orchestra, are they normally together? Is that usually... Well, I always think of an orchestra as just, like a bunch of people playing incredible instruments. Right. I don't think of a choir necessarily.
Right. Well, they rehearse separately. They're different groups.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're separate.
So you're not combining them in any way?
We have combined them.
Yeah.
I mean, there is music that combines orchestra and choir for sure. The Beethoven Ninth, the finale that has a big choir. But no, they're different groups.
Okay. So you're doing that on top of all of the musical stuff, the orchestra, and teaching.
And teaching,
which we talked about just for a second, touched on, that you're actually the music teacher at the high school in Hood River.
I've been at Hood River Valley High as the music teacher since the early 1980s. Most high schools have a band person and a choir person, but somehow...
These days?
I've done both, yeah.
These days, do they?
Oh, they still do.
They still do, okay.
Well, especially schools of our size.
All right.
Are bigger.
So what are you doing in that position? What are you, you're doing music, but what does that mean?
Right. Well, we have two bands and we have choirs. We have a chamber choir, which is an elite audition group. It's the group that tours Europe every other year. And then we have a jazz band, and we have several rock and pop groups, and I teach music theory and AP music, and so a lot of instrumental stuff, vocal stuff, theory things, whatever kids want to do, I try to find a way for them to do it, basically.
So you don't just stay in the classical genre?
No, absolutely
you
not.
go.
I think that these days, but you need to explore any kind of music, and kids are into everything, and I'm into every kind of music too, so I want to provide all that experience.
Cool. Do you have one that is more your favorite?
Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I love choral music, especially, Renaissance choral music. I think that's just incredibly beautiful, and I think if I had to listen to something, that would be something that I listen to a lot. And that's one of the reasons that I take the kids to England. We go every other year so we can sing in the cathedrals, that music was created for. And it's just a great place to sing it.
Yeah, that's got to be kind of a magical experience.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's life-changing for those kids, for sure.
So kind of fill me in on what music is really about. Because music, we think of... soundtracks to movies, and you could maybe they're not as popular as they used to be, but you could actually buy the soundtrack to a movie, and get all of that. We work a lot with a music library, for our commercials and all that kind of stuff. It's an emotion. It's to you though. What is music?
Well, that's such an open-ended.
Yeah.
I guess I would think of that. Music used to be, and we're talking about pre-20th century, it was such a magical, special experience to hear music professionally done. You couldn't just have access to it 24 hours a day. Like now, you can't really escape music and sound. It's a special time when things are silent, because it's there all the time. So what happens is you take it for granted. And I think that we've shifted from being music creators and performers to consumers almost exclusively. So having the chance to create music yourself for kids and adults too, I think is a really, really special thing, that you have a chance not to just be mindless consumers, but to have that powerful experience of creating it and performing it. So, for me, that's the real special thing, is allowing people to have that performance experience and really find out about themselves through doing that.
So the difference then between composing music for an adult audience and composing music for a younger set, maybe children. What is the difference? How do you define that?
Well, I think the only difference is really in terms of technical ability. I think in dealing with the meaning of the music, I don't think there's a difference. You want music that's meaningful for anybody, for human beings, right?
Yeah.
So for me, when I try to find music for my groups, whether it's for the little kids or the high school kids or the adults, it has to be, for me, interesting and emotionally satisfying and intellectually satisfying. So I try really hard to find music that's important and has a lot of depth, a lot of things to learn and explore. And I don't think there's a difference, other than little kids can only do simpler things, and adults can do more complicated things, but the music has to be good no matter what.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about how music is changing and the future, and sort of the future even, or at least your opinion of the future of music programs in the schools, and where you see that all going. Because as you mentioned, it does get kind of taken for granted. We're so immersed with it.
Right.
So we'll talk about some of that and a few other things when we come back. Be right back.
Later.
The beauty of music is that in music, you're participating all the time. You never sit and listen to somebody hopefully lecture at you. You're doing it. And there always needs to be that kind of thing for kids to do.